Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Starcraft 2. I am your host, Zoronden. We're going to have a little bit of pro player action today. And in the bottom left corner on the map mouzMaNa, we have the blue Zerg LiquidTLO. And in the top left corner, coming in the red Protoss mouzMaNa. I'm actually unfamiliar with mouzMaNa's group, but I definitely know the player mouzMaNa. I have definitely watched him in a few tournaments. mouzMaNa, it can be quite fun. And, of course, everybody knows LiquidTLO, or at least Liquid. So both of these players pretty well known, and should be good fun to watch them lob volleys at each other. So we have a nice ZVP here, and as I said, on the map mouzMaNa. A fairly early scout coming out by mouzMaNa. Going to go across the map, obviously going to hit the towers, as any good player will do. And, of course, going to pass over that Overlord as well. Completely normal play there. No rushing, anything like that, at least so far. The probe could be up to no good, but I would guess he's just going to scout and try and go for the block on the fast expand. And that is something you do see fairly often. A little bit of gameplay going on there. TLO does opt for spawning pool first. Not a bad idea with this probe running around. Probe probably would have just followed his drone down and played hopscotch with him, blocking off that hatchery, and would have just caused all kinds of issues. A second... Okay, he's just building a wall off down here. I thought he was sending a second probe down for a second. I was like, balls to it, what's going down here? But he's just going for his forged fast expand. At least that's what I would suspect. I'm not sure why he brought a second probe down to assist that first probe. And mouzMaNa's probe slightly out of position, but TLO didn't have the minerals, and he's not going to be able to get his hatchery going. And the effective block is done. I mean, that pylon there is going to cause issues. We'll keep an eye on that pylon, see if TLO has to kill it, or if mouzMaNa's going to, just cancel it off there. And going for that quick third expansion, he does get that down. That is what you will see a lot of players do when their main natural has been blocked. So they go straight for that third, and it's a good adaptation to the problem. A couple lings gonna pop out here, and actually mouzMaNa did go ahead and cancel that pylon. TLL didn't know that though, and may have spent some extra money on lings. Probably not though. Honestly, that he wasn't terribly concerned about that pylon. He knew it would go down in time, and he still had an expansion on the way. So a fairly short-term block done by mouzMaNa, but he did manage to do that, and the probe might get away. Yeah, he'll get away with just one ling on him. That probe's gonna go on home safe, and the cannon will definitely chase away that ling. The Nexus, of course, going up for mouzMaNa, getting his gateway as well. He does have both of his assimilators almost done here in his natural, so we should definitely seeing some stalkers and possibly even some robotech coming out of him very quickly. And the natural now actually going up for TLO, working on the rocks as well. 3 lings is going to take a year and a half to kill off these rocks, but if they're not doing anything else, and you don't want those rocks there, why the heck not? And a Cybercore plopped down. I think this is a gap right here. Basically the gap you'd put the Zealot in, but obviously that's going to stop 1, even 4 lings from rushing on in there. However, an Overlord might be shooting up here to get some scouting. Unfortunately, he's not going to see jack diddly because there's nothing going on in mouzMaNa's main at all right now. There might be in a little bit with that pylon going down, but for now, nada, zip, zilch. We do have some drone transfers going on, sending some down to his third, and nothing going on at the natural just yet. I would expect to see some drones start piling up there sooner or later. So rocks are nearing halfway dead. Exciting there. And mouzMaNa is going to push out with the Zealot. Wants to get out there, do what he can, see if there's any weak spots he can exploit. And again, that's just standard play. Oftentimes you will see them come down here with their Stalker as well, but not necessary. The Zealot can sometimes eke out a few drone kills or something like that, or even a ling kill here and there. So, and the lings are going to want to avoid that Zealot because head-on confrontation, at least 1 ling will go down. Indeed, there's the case. In fact, 2 almost bite it. They're obviously now on the run. They could probably kill him, but the losses to the lings would not really be worth the cost. Of course, There goes down a second Ling, and that Zealot has, well, paid for about half of himself so far. And, of course, he can probably assume there's a third here. There's a lot of queens going to work on those rocks. TLO does not like those rocks. They must have insulted his mother or something along those lines. More assimilators coming in for Mana. Definitely going to be wanting to get all that gas. We do have the Robobait finishing up for a Robo Facility. Robotics Facility. Finishing up 4 mana and a Obs right on the way. Going to be bursting that out with a Chrono Boost. And that'll be on the field. Lickety Split. He wants to see what TLO is up to. He hasn't really had an opportunity to get any good scouting in. And TLO sending a nice little squad of 12 Lings up here. And he could definitely eke a few of those, most of those even, by this cannon. However, that would hurt. And it would be not necessary losses. But he might be, I think he's just kind of scouting out for proxy pylons right now. I was wondering if he was going to set up some sort of interesting trap behind the grass here. But no, I think he's just proxy scouting, making sure there aren't any little tricks going around. And this Obs is going to fly right over those Lings. Knows that there's at least a 4-pack running around. And where there are 4 Zerglings at 8-9 minutes into the game, you can assume there are more. Do see some Roaches on the way, as well as Metabolic Boost and Roach Speed. I don't see a Baneling Nest anywhere on the field. There's an Evo Chamber right there. So that's it for TLO at the moment. Does he have a lair? Yes, he does. And, that Observer gonna get some bad end of the stick. He wants to get out of there. Rocks for Mana going down as well. Let's check out his tech tree. Definitely got Warp Gate going, obviously. Cyber Core right there. Robotics Facility and 5 gateways total. Oh, and we do indeed have a Twilight Council back here. So we might see some deeper play in the tech tree or some Blink. Or, of course, Charge. I haven't seen a lot of Charge lately. I don't know if I've just been doing games that are too short or if people have been opting to not get Charge. But we do have a block of Roaches and a single Ling coming up the map. And TLO might be going for a little bit of play here. I don't know if it's the best idea, though, with 2 Immortals here. Of course, Mana is now grabbing a 3rd, but TLO grabbing a 4th as well. What do we have here? More Observers on the map. That's an Overlord over there. And you can just see all the map coverage TLO has. And it looks like we might get this this first push in here. Gonna rush up and try and target that cannon, I assume. Gonna go actually for the Forge. Wants to get it out of the way so we can get his Roaches all in position on that cannon. 1 Roach gets trapped by the Force Field. Not dead yet. Actually providing some high ground vision, and the Forge goes down. So does the Roach. But 1 Roach is definitely worth a Forge. Those guys pulling back to the Watchtower. Mana a little furious. Wants to repay for that loss. Is that there's a little campfire over here. Okay. Ooh. A Warp Prism flying across the map here. It is empty at the moment. And, of course, TLO has seen it. He's going to be following it around, but he can't shoot up at it currently. Has no anti-air. We do have a Baneling Nest on the way, and Blink, by the way. Blink's actually almost done. And a big force from Mana wipes out that little TLO force. And a couple Stalkers warp in on a couple Roaches. Not the best units, but 3 Stalkers should take down 2 Roaches, especially when they're a 2 upgrade. 2 attack upgrade. Whatever. 2 attack Stalkers. And a little Zealot incursion, I'm pretty sure, from the Warp Prism here, did some nice damage to that. Unfortunately, not enough for Mana to be able to bust that hatchery. And a 5th hatchery going down for TLO. Getting hungry, starting to get into some very deep mid-game here. And I wouldn't be surprised. Robotics will stay right there. I wouldn't be surprised to see some late-game tech coming into play, but oh my goodness. 33 Banelings morphing in right now, and I think TLO is going for the win. Going to try and do that giant Baneling bust with all the Roaches backing it up. And there are Colossus on the way, but Extended Thermal Lance has so long to go, and this is going to happen. Even a drop, actually. Oh my gosh, we're going to get a Baneling drop here with tons of Roaches running around. Centrifugal Hooks should be done by when he starts. I would guess he's going to do a timing push with that. We just now have Zerg melee 1 coming in, but we do have melee ranged 1 for those Roaches, so that will definitely help. Centrifugal Hooks very close to being done. And I think this drop is going to attempt to drop right on top of this army, and that would be so devastating. There's so very little anti-air in it. It needs to run now. There goes the Stalker. It's going to start doing some damage. The drops for TLO have to start. Banelings starting to go off every single area. All the roaches into combat, trying to do what they can. Oh my gosh, that is not what I tried to do. And oh, just so much devastation with the Banelings continuing to drop, or at least try and freak mana out. The roaches trying to move up the ramp, trying to do what damage they can now. And the Protoss army is whittling so quick. A nice little blink there. Just not going to be enough for the moment. These roaches doing very nice damage. However, the Stalkers are standing their ground. A few more Banelings rolling in. Another Colossus up there. He is in danger of being sniped. A few Lings come in. The army for TLO has dwindled considerably, but so has Mana's. Desperately trying to warp in more units. The roaches continuing to come up this ramp. More and more units going down, but TLO has been stopped. However, a little reinforcement wave has rolled in. The third for mana has been wiped out. The natural is pretty much dead. It has, I guess it does have drones in the corner hiding, but the army for TLO is very, very thin at this point. It looks like mana is going to hold this off. TLO is going to back off for the moment. Oh, I'm actually on everybody's vision, and that brings us a little surprise. Bunch of roaches come in, and Mana's going to be in serious trouble here. That is a lot of roaches to suddenly be in. And if he can get this Colossi, and there it is, almost sniped that off. So close, it backs off at the last moment. Another one comes up, and the roaches kind of getting a bottleneck there and getting crispified roaches. Roasted roaches coming out everywhere. Stalkers really doing their damage. Oh, but it's another squad comes in, and Mana just can't take that. Has to GG out of the game. Oh my gosh. All right, what I was trying to do was escape off of all the units and bring down the HUD. But I noticed sometimes the HUD does not pull away. I don't know. I'm hitting the button for it. Whatever. Doesn't matter. That was a fantastic game. I really enjoyed the push by TLO, the Baneling drop. Baneling drops are always fun whenever they happen. I love all Baneling play, to be honest. Banelings are just ridiculously fun. Either way, thanks. Congrats to TLO. That was a fun game to watch. Really enjoyed casting it. As I've said before, I love Ohana. It's one of my favorite maps, simply because I love Hawaii, and it's fun. And, oh, the little campfire. Where is that guy? Where is it? The little campfire over there. It's not on fire anymore. All right, guys. That's going to do it for today. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff, so I can bring you more StarCraft 2 content, more pros doing what they do best, slaughtering the enemy. And I have been Zoronden. I will catch you guys next time.